Your mind isn't broken, it's running outdated loops. Let that sentence arrive first, without effort, without analysis, simply as a statement of truth that does not require you to fix anything. You are not here to stop thinking, not here to defeat your mind, not here to become calm by force. You are here to recognize a pattern, the way one might notice a familiar song playing softly in the background, a song that once served a purpose, that once kept you alert, protected, prepared, but now continues to play long after the moment has passed. Overthinking is not a flaw in you. It is a learned response, a loop that once made sense. Somewhere in your past, paying close attention, replaying scenarios, scanning for mistakes or future threats was useful. It helped you adapt. It helped you survive socially, emotionally, intellectually. And now, the loop continues not because something is wrong, but because the mind is efficient, and efficiency means repetition. The brain loves what is familiar. It defaults to what it has practiced most often. That is not weakness. That is biology. As you settle into this moment, allow yourself to observe the mind the way a scientist might observe a process, with curiosity rather than criticism. Notice how thoughts tend to arise automatically, often sounding urgent, often framed as problems to be solved immediately. Notice how the mind jumps ahead in time, rehearsing conversations, predicting outcomes, reviewing decisions. This is not random. These are cognitive shortcuts, biases that evolved to save energy. The mind prefers fast explanations over accurate ones. It prefers certainty over nuance. It prefers stories over silence. Overthinking often feels personal, as if you are choosing it, as if you are failing to control yourself. Yet, when you look closely, you can see the machinery running on its own. Thoughts appear before permission is given. Judgments arise before evidence is complete. Conclusions form before curiosity has a chance to speak. This is how outdated loops work. They repeat because no one has updated the instruction. And the first update is recognition. Simply noticing gently that a loop is running, not trying to interrupt it, not arguing with it, just recognizing. There's a thought about the future. There is a replay of the past. There is a what if. There is a should have. There's a need to resolve something right now. Each of these can be seen as signals, not commands. Cognitive biases are not enemies. They are mental habits that trade depth for speed. The availability bias pulls dramatic examples to the surface, making rare outcomes feel likely. The negativity bias highlights what could go wrong more vividly than what could go right. The confirmation bias searches for evidence that supports an existing worry. When these biases combine, the mind can feel loud, insistent, convincing. And yet, recognizing them loosens their grip. The moment you see a bias as a process rather than a truth, space appears. You are no longer inside the thought. You are observing it. And observation changes everything. As you listen now, you may notice thoughts trying to analyze these words, to decide whether they apply, to compare this moment to other moments. That is also part of the pattern. The mind wants to understand before it rests. Let it try. There's nothing wrong with that either. You do not need to silence the mind to recognize it. In fact, recognition requires the mind to be active. It requires awareness. Awareness is not effort. Awareness is allowing what is already happening to be seen clearly. Imagine each thought as a looped message playing on an old device. The content may sound convincing, emotional, urgent, but the repetition tells the real story. New information does not arrive. The same themes cycle. That repetition is the clue. When you recognize repetition, you are no longer trapped in content. You are noticing structure, and structure can be updated. Overthinking thrives on the belief that resolution is just one more thought away, that if you replay it enough times, clarity will suddenly appear. Yet clarity often emerges when the loop is seen rather than solved. When the mind realizes it is running on habit, not necessity. This realization does not come as a dramatic shift. It arrives quietly as a soft disengagement, a sense of stepping half a pace back. From here, thoughts may still occur, but they no longer demand obedience. You begin to see that thinking is something you have, not something you are. You are the awareness in which thinking happens. That awareness does not rush. It does not panic. It does not judge. It notices. And noticing is enough for now. As this awareness grows, you may feel a subtle easing in the body, perhaps in the jaw, the shoulders, the chest, places that tighten when the mind believes it must stay alert. That tightening was never a failure. It was a response to perceived importance. The mind labeled certain thoughts as urgent, and the body responded accordingly. When the label softens, the body listens. There is no command needed, no instruction to relax. Recognition does the work. You might notice how the mind categorizes experiences quickly, good or bad, safe or dangerous, success or failure. This is another shortcut. It reduces complexity so decisions can be made fast. Yet in modern life, speed is often unnecessary. The loops persist because the environment has changed faster than the software. You are running ancient programs in a modern context. Understanding this removes shame. Shame implies personal defect. This is not defect. This is lag. And lag can be updated, not through force, but through awareness. Today is not about stopping overthinking. It is about seeing it clearly without merging with it. You may begin to notice small pauses between thoughts, brief moments where nothing needs to be solved. These pauses are not created. They are revealed. They were always there, unnoticed because attention was glued to the loop. In these pauses, there is no problem. There is only presence. And presence does not argue with the mind. It simply remains. When the next thought arrives, as it will, you can recognize it again. There is the loop. There is the pattern. Each recognition weakens the illusion that the thought is you. Over time, this recognition becomes familiar. The mind learns that it is being observed, not obeyed. And observed systems naturally reorganize. This is not something you need to remember to do constantly. Awareness grows on its own once introduced. You are planting a seed now, a seed of curiosity instead of control, of understanding instead of self-judgment, of update instead of repair. Your mind does not need fixing. It needs context. It needs to be seen accurately. When you understand that overthinking is a protective habit that has outlived its usefulness, compassion arises naturally. compassion creates safety. Safety allows the nervous system to downshift. Downshifting allows space. Space allows choice. Choice breaks loops, not by cutting them off, but by rendering them optional. As this session continues, you may notice a gentle shift in your relationship to your thoughts. Not fewer thoughts necessarily, but less identification with them. Like clouds moving across the sky instead of whether you must endure. This is the beginning. Recognition precedes change. Awareness precedes calm. And nothing needs to be forced. You are simply learning to see what has always been happening, without blame, without urgency, without the belief that something is wrong with you. Your mind is doing what minds do. And now, you are learning to watch it, to understand it, and eventually to update it. For now, recognition is enough.